This car is not just a box with a motor. It is original both externally and internally, and the following facts speak of its merits. For 11 years of production, the model has not undergone major changes, while the number of copies that have rolled off the assembly line has exceeded 2 million. Twingo debuted at the Paris Motor Show in 1992. It was offered in the body of a 3-door hatchback and was equipped with a 1.3-liter 54-horsepower gasoline engine. Since 1994, an airbag for the driver has been included in the basic package, and a year later, for the passenger. At the end of 1996, a new 1.2-liter engine replaced the old 1.3-liter. A year later, this engine was upgraded, increasing power to 60 horsepower. In 1998, the model was subjected to a slight facelift. The updated Twingo has new rounded bumpers and headlights, combined with direction indicators into a common unit. The interior has not undergone radical changes, only new headrests have appeared and the color options for plastic panels and upholstery have changed. Cars began to be equipped with side airbags and belt pretensioners. In order to increase the level of safety in the body structure, the profile of the spars was changed and their rigidity increased. Stronger steel was chosen for the floor panel and a new safety steering column was used. In 2001, a new 16-valve 1.2L, 75 horsepower, appeared. In the fall of the following year, the Twingo New Collection version was presented at the Auto Show in Paris. Its main differences are a new interior and a different design of the front panel. Body. Renault Twingo is available in one body style, a 3-door hatchback, gravitating toward a single cab. In addition to the usual modification with an all-metal roof, a version with a sliding fabric top is also offered. Despite the fact that the copies of the first years of production have already crossed the 10-year milestone, they have not noted any typical places of corrosion, with the exception of the exhaust system, and, perhaps, the main ambush is for buyers of the soft-top version, which often leaks roof. The inside of this little car is unexpectedly spacious, and passengers of any height and configuration can easily fit in the front seats. And landing in the cabin through the large doors is quite convenient. There is not so much space behind, but two not too respectable passengers will not be very cramped, because, in addition to the fact that the rear seats can be moved on a slide in the range of 170 millimeters, their backs are equipped with tilt adjustment. For transportation of bulky goods, the rear sofa easily folds. French designers managed to create a car that looks like a fun toy. Therefore, do not be surprised that the interior looks very unusual. The interior upholstery is made of colorful velour, and the levers and control buttons are completely multicolored. The traditional instrument cluster replaces the small multifunctional display in the center of the dashboard, and the information on it is presented no less original. For example, the fuel level in the tank shows a progressively shorter row of glowing dots. Salon. The filling of many instances is rather poor, and apart from the driver's airbag, and since the end of 1995, the passenger, an immobilizer, and a central lock, there is nothing in them. But sometimes there are modifications with electric drives for windows and side mirrors, a head unit and a sunroof, but finding an instance with air conditioning is not easy. Since the end of the 90s, the ABS brake system, which was previously installed as an option, has been included in the basic package. In addition, side airbags and pretensioner belts appeared on all Twingos produced for Europe. The most prestigious initial equipment can have leather upholstery, power steering, CD player, climate control, and even a navigation system. It is worth noting that Twingo was officially delivered to our country only a few years and, as they say, did not go, but the equipment of the Russians may differ from the Europeans. Engine. The choice of power units for the model is small. First, a 1.3-liter 54-horsepower 4-cylinder gasoline engine inherited from Renault 5 was installed on the Twingo. By design, this unit is quite ancient. It uses a timing chain drive and central injection, but its ease of repair and maintenance is worthy of all praise. Then in 1996 it was replaced by a new 1.2-liter of the same power, and a year later the power of this engine was increased to 60 horsepower. The same motor is also installed on the older Clio model. And only in 2001, under the hood of Twingo, a more powerful 1.2-liter 16-valve with a capacity of 75 horsepower appeared. However, you should not worry about the fact that there is not enough herd of less than 60 horses for such a car, because the lightweight, 850 kilograms, and well-chosen transmission ratios allow you not to feel like an outsider in city traffic, and even on the highway Twingo leads more than acceptable. But at high speeds, they need to be managed more carefully, as the side wind begins to make its own adjustments to the behavior of the car. The car is extremely economical. Thus, fuel consumption on the highway when driving at a speed of 90 km/h is 4.8 liters per 100, and in the urban cycle, about 6.5 liters. McPherson-type independent suspension is used at the front, semi-independent lever spring at the rear. Suspension. The undercarriage resource is quite acceptable, and during normal operation, intervention is not required up to about 40,000 kilometers. Then comes the turn of the ball bearings of the front levers and something else on the little things. But there are a few points that I would like to pay special attention to. Despite the load capacity of 400 and a few kilograms declared in the passport, the springs of the Twingo quickly fail from frequent use with the full load. And not only hub bearings suffer from strong impacts on curbs or roughness of the road, sometimes the following trouble occurs. The inner drive hinge falls apart, and needles, rollers from the bearing, fall out into the gearbox. If immediately after this you do not remove the box and rid it of needles, then an expensive bulkhead for this transmission unit will be required very soon. Transmission. 3 gearboxes were installed on the model, a 5-speed manual, a 3-speed automatic and a 5-speed mechanics with an automatic clutch. The first 2 units are traditional in design and quite reliable, subject to regular monitoring of the oil level, which tends to run away through the seals. But I would like to tell you more about the semi-automatic. In the interior of a car equipped with a semi-automatic, everything is normal at first glance. There is a gear lever on the floor tunnel, but there is no clutch pedal in the pedal unit. The algorithm of the driver's actions when driving is the same as on instances with conventional mechanics, except that you do not need to press the extra pedal to shift gears and start moving. But most importantly, what was appreciated by buyers, and mainly by customers, this is that the car does not stall if the pedals and the shift knob are mishandled. But this system is quite complicated, and in the event of a breakdown of a semi-automatic device, not all service centers specializing in this brand undertake to repair it, and the cost of such work will decently ease the owner's wallet. According to the statistics of the German organizations ADAC and TÜV, the reliability of the model is not very high, but here it must be borne in mind that the picture is greatly spoiled by copies of the first years of production with their childhood illnesses. However, to illustrate what low reliability is, it must be clarified that the Skoda Felicia, which is so popular with us, is ahead of the Twingo in terms of the number of breakdowns. So, what kind of troubles did cars deliver to their owners? Cabin defects include a fragile attachment point for folding front seats, which, after 3 or 4 years of operation, began to stagger and are difficult to adjust, but in 1998 this was eliminated. Many owners note the causeless blinking of the airbag warning light. In addition, every few years during domestic operation, the generator stops working. As a rule, the diode bridge fails or the contacts corrode. However, you can quickly and inexpensively restore the performance of this unit if you use the services of any generator repair workshop. And sometimes there are failures of the motor and wiper drive, and copies of the first years of production. As for engines, the 1.3-liter unit, which was installed until 1996, inclusive, causes the greatest number of complaints. Behind him, repeated cases of leaks in the pipes of the cooling system, burnout of cylinder head gaskets, defects in fuel pumps and increased oil consumption were noticed. Since the Twingo is primarily a city car, its mileage is mostly small. But after the introduction of new duties, ferrymen began to import small cars. And here I would like to emphasize that many of them have chosen their resource in rental offices in Europe, where such crumbs are in steady demand. It is very problematic to understand that this is an overclocking copy, because the car rental fleet is updated every 2 or 3 years, and perhaps the main indicator of such a past can be considered the state of the interior, where even dry cleaning cannot remove the upholstery burnt by cigarettes. In general, Twingo is a very extraordinary car. It not only allows you to stand out from the general stream, but also has a roomy interior, decent driving performance and good maintainability.